June 29th. Welcome to McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk. I am the first half of that name, Pat McAfee. To my left is Mr. AJ Hawk. AJ, the Cam Newton to the New England Patriots story is one that we all knew was inevitably going to come. There's a lot of bad football teams that could have signed Cam Newton. They chose not to. Now the greatest dynasty in the history of professional sports signs him. Are you as bummed as I am that we thought that the Patriots were potentially dead? Now they're better than ever. Woo! I mean, it's insane.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course it's insane. The first thing you think of are people like Connor and the fans of the New England Patriots. But I don't really have like a crazy one way or the other feeling about the Patriots. Do you? Like, have you always been like a Patriots hater?
No. But I do know that their fans are insufferable whenever they get going, and for good reason. This is a fan base that has done nothing but win for 20 years. And they are from a town where it's okay to be loud and, and they've had nothing but good stuff to cheer for when it comes to the Patriots. The biggest sport in the biggest league in the world, their team has reigned supreme, and they were not scared to let everybody know, and for good reason. But now, there's a little chink in the armor, you know what I mean? There was a little bit of a letdown coming. There was a little bit of a chance that they go from penthouse to outhouse. There was a potential shitstorm brewing in Foxborough in New England. There was, you have the greatest coach, but we have a quarterback that can't even throw a ball. The last time he threw was a pick six. You talk to their players, not a single one said Jared Stidham was a good player. All you ever heard was he's a good guy, he's a good guy. Then Bill Belichick comes out and says, well, we like all of our guys. We don't know what's going to happen later. And you're like, you know what? Patriots fans, for the first time in 2 decades, are going to have to sit here and watch the rest of the league compete for that title of always being in the playoffs, potentially always being in an AFC championship game, potentially always being in a Super Bowl. Now you got a guy named Stidham that nobody knows or nobody likes. Then they come out of nowhere and sign a player that could have been signed by every shitty team across the league that chose not to, and now Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, and Ernie Adams have a new toy with a completely new style of offense, and they're right back in it yet again, and their fans are going to be tough to handle this year because you know what they're going to say? Everybody told us we were dead. Everybody said it was Tom Brady. Now what are we? Now what are we? 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0 because fuck Cam Newton, which anybody could have signed, but we did because we're the smartest. That is what we're going to have to deal with, and this is 100% Shad Khan, Tony Khan, and that Jacksonville Jaguar team's fault, and we have to deal with it. So yeah, I do have feelings in one particular way because we're going to have to deal with that thing right there all year now. When he was potentially moving to Australia for the AFL, he wasn't even going to watch the NFL anymore.
Well, how about for Connor, though? So let's say the New England Patriots go out there and their Cam Newton plays like at an MVP level, and they make a run, but they don't win the Super Bowl. Guys like Connor, they're still going to be the whole season like they're going to be what we've seen the last 20 years now. But how good is it going to feel for you and the boys, Pat, if Cam Newton, say it's not even his fault, the team just can't gel and they go 6-10? What's that going to feel like for you to watch him?
You know that's not going to happen.
Why?
I think the last time they won 9 games or something was like 1999 or something.
I believe the last recorded 9-win season was 2002.
But whatever the case, they put Castle in there, they fucking won. They put Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy G in there, they fucking won.
Yep.
Now they got a guy who was an MVP 2 years ago.
So how much pressure is that on Cam now? I mean, I think that's huge pressure because now all of a sudden everyone's saying they're back. Like, oh, we didn't miss a beat. We got Cam.
No, not everybody's saying they're back, by the way. A lot of people who don't have brains, like Cam Newton's bad. That's what people are saying right now. There's a reason nobody else wanted to sign him. It's like, fucking Bill Belichick wanted to sign him, though. Does that not carry any weight in this discussion that Bill Belichick wanted to sign him? They're like, nobody else wanted him. It's like, well, nobody else is Bill Belichick either. How about that? Andy Reid, I guess, was kind of inching there close to be like one of the smartest coasters of all time because he's been able to win through all these different generations and decades, and who knows if anybody's going to be able to stop the Chiefs, especially in the AFC. But Bill Belichick, this is an interesting thing. When the Patriots cut somebody, that person is signed off of waivers every single time, okay? Because everybody in the NFL is like, well, if Bill Belichick thinks this person was good enough to be on their roster, they're definitely good enough to be on our roster. If you're on a shitty team and you get cut, you're going to clear waivers. You're going to get an option to go wherever because it doesn't hold as much respect. But in this case, everybody's like, Cam Newton is not the player he once was. He's hurt. It's like, well, Bill Belichick thought he was a fucking guy. What does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that the guy that's the best at this whole thing thinks that he's still got it, and he paid shit for him. No money he is being paid this year, and he's going to be their starting quarterback. $7.5 million if they go and win a Super Bowl is what it'll end up being, and they'll have to pay that next year. $1 million contract for Cam Newton at the New England Patriots. It's unbelievable. This is 100% Jacksonville Jaguars' fault, too, when we have to deal with that son of a bitch all season being jacked up when he was potentially dead. He was dead. Look at the language he's got on this thing. He was dead. He had no happiness left. He was completely distraught. And now it's just one Sunday night signing, and it's all she wrote. And by the way, perfectly timing of the signing to kind of bury the news of them getting punished for Spygate the Bengals. But that's neither here nor there. They got a team again. It's unbelievable.
Yes, it is. No, that is here. That's here and right now, I think. How do you think that played out? Is it possible that this was a coincidence that all this happened basically right at the same time?
They were just waiting for whenever the NFL was going to release these penalties. Like, hey, Schefter, give us a heads up when you're going to tweet that out because we got some news of our own. So when the NFL sends you a little heads up, we got some fucking shit we'd like to drop too. Schefter probably tells Belichick, hey, I just want to let you know the NFL just came through with their breakdown on you for the Spygate at Cincinnati. This is what it is. And Belichick goes, cool, we're signing Cam Newton. And Schefter's like, wait a fucking minute. According to my sources, the NFL is punishing the Patriots, but Patriots are signing Cam Newton. I'll report this one first and this one second. That's what Schefter was putting kind of like an insider conundrum there. Like, which one do I break first? Oh, Cam Newton's a much bigger story, but the punishment too. Oh, we'll do them within the same minute. And then one got buried on the other. They did that on purpose for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, but does the league want it to be buried? The Patriots' punishment?
I don't think the league cares.
You don't think? I mean, they want to look like, yes, we're taking a strong stance, like, oh, we're not going to allow any form of cheating, whether you think this is cheating or not. But they don't want – it's still bad news for the league when a team gets fined $1.1 million and gives up, what, a third-round pick?
That's what I'm saying. The league does not like to hear or have people hear that their league is flawed.
So they like the fact that it's buried with the Cam Newton news.
Oh, yeah. Now, granted, a lot of Patriots fans would come out against that. They're like, oh, you think that the NFL doesn't like bad news? They came after Tom Brady 7 years after Deflategate and gave him which, valid, very valid that he got suspended 2 years later for 4 games. But the NFL is very okay if that gets buried in lieu of Cam Newton getting back in the league, I think, personally, because the league never wants to hear bad stuff said about it. And if imagine if this whole show right now was about, do you remember the Patriots? They had their camera people up in the booth shooting at the Cincinnati Bengals sideline. That's what the conversation could be today. But instead it's, of course, they signed Cam Newton for $0 and become favorites in the AFC East yet again. Woo! Betting favorites in the AFC East yet again, which they did. They went from plus 120 tied with the Buffalo Bills to plus 100 and Bills at plus 160. I mean, it immediately overnight, their over-under goes from 9 to 9.5. I mean, it just, by the way, hammering the over on that. I am all in. I am all in on the Cam Newton train, wherever it is, because I think with his personality, having to prove himself again, he's going to be all the way back. But now, even more so, that he's with the best coach to ever fucking coach football.
And Josh McDaniels. We have Josh McDaniels that's going to craft whatever kind of, you know how multiple they can be. Like they play to whatever players they have on the roster. Like they craft everything around them. So McDaniels, is probably, since they even have floated the idea of signing Cam Newton, he's probably been drawing up all kinds of packages for this guy and getting. It's going to be fun to watch, and that's what I think is going to be gigantic for Cam. It's a win-win for everybody. The Patriots get a super high-value, low-money pick. Like, this is complete upside for us. This is nothing, especially to pay a quarterback in the NFL that wasn't MVP in the league. And then for Cam, hey, I go out there and I kill it. I'm going to get a gigantic deal, and I'm coached by some amazing guys. Maybe I stay here, and I become the next Tom Brady.
He might be the best Cam Newton we've ever seen.
Yep.
Maybe.
He seems to be in the best shape he's ever been in. He has a chip on his shoulder, so he's ready to go. And he's going to have Bill Belichick and Ernie Sims. What's his name?
Adams.
Ernie Sims, great linebacker.
Ernie Sims is my guy. Great linebacker.
I like Ernie.
I love Ernie. You play with Ernie?
We came out the same draft class.
You ever play alongside him?
Not with him, no.
So you don't know Ernie as well as I do. Ernie's awesome.
I don't know exactly what you mean, but
I'm not saying he's a whole changed man, but Ernie is awesome. Ernie was one of the coolest dudes I've ever. We got a heads up when he was coming into our locker room about him, though. If it means anything.
You got a what?
A heads up. Like, hey, something's coming into your locker room that you've never seen before. You know
okay. Who gave you the heads up?
You know what I'm talking about. People were calling into the Colts like, hey, wait until you see this. Like that type. He's awesome. Ernie's the greatest. But Ernie Adams now is up in the booth for Cam Newton telling him, you know how he had that Clay Matthews moment? Like, oh, you've been watching film? Ha, watch this. Ernie's doing that every single play for Cam Newton. I mean, Ernie and Bill and Josh, that's going to be... They don't have a lot of weapons. Mohamed Sanu, I guess they have Julian Edelman. Mm-hmm. They have Sony Michel. They have good running backs. Okay, they do that.
Bird from Arizona, who Lombardi loves. Bird,
this Bird guy from Arizona, I guess, is unbelievable. Larry Fitzgerald will account for that.
Says the tight end situation.
Oh, Dalton Keene, don't even get me started, my man. The next Rob Gronkowski 2.0.
This is what I was told this morning by that fucking doofus right there. He said, oh, we got a tight end from Virginia Tech. He had 0 drops last year.
Yep.
I was like, well, how many catches did he have then? Because you have 0 drops and he don't throw you the ball ever. Like, he's like, 36 or something like that. I'm like, 36? That's actually pretty good. Turned out to be like 19 or something like that. They never throw the ball. So did he not drop the ball? Yes, he didn't drop the ball, but they literally never threw him the fucking ball. It was just
still no drops.
Double coverage.
Still can't argue with no drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had to hammer home the drop thing even more. I just... Somehow, some way, all these other teams won't sign him, but fucking the Patriots will. And now it's just like we're back.
Doesn't it make complete sense? Like, this is the most. It was not surprising news. We were saying this 2 months ago. Like, why would the Patriots not sign Cam Newton? And then I think I understand why. Like, I'm sure that it was always on the radar, but they're like, hey, the longer we wait, the lower the price goes. We know we're probably going to be one of the only teams shopping around trying to find out, see what Cam has. And we don't have to bid against other teams. So he knew, like, hey, we get all the leverage as time goes. And today seemed like the right time, or what, a couple days ago, and they got it done.
And I would not say that they did not think about when those punishments were going to be handed down, not to just do the signing then. If we hold off, his price will go down, yes, because it's alleged. Now, I don't know how they knew that nobody else was going to take him. Maybe because the Patriots just know everybody's a bunch of fucking idiots. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Maybe like Jacksonville. You think Jacksonville's going to? They need him, right? But they're not. There's no way. Bears. Oh, they're going to pay $17 million to Nick Foles, $21 million together for Mitch and Nick. Okay, so they're not even thinking about it. No. Chargers took Air Bear. Oh, okay. So nobody else is taking him. No. Oh, let's just wait this thing out until those punishments come, and then we just we're on to Cam Newton with the announcement. I mean, that's exactly. I would not put that past them just because of how, how highly I think of how they think. I think they're playing legit chess.
Their attention to detail. Don't you think that? Like, their attention to detail, when you have, like, crazy attention to detail like that, it's not just in one aspect of your life. It's every single thing you do. So if that's the old Patriot way that people like to talk about. And
a lot of people are telling me that
you ever talk to anybody about that, Pat?
What's that?
Like the Patriot way. Like, anyone that's ever, like, I think Bill Belichick even said, like, I've never said the Patriot way. Like, that's not something that they, like, promote. It's just kind of a thing that they don't talk about. Or they don't even have to say other people talk about it.
It's just like, hey, this is the way it goes. Like, I don't know. I think their players have talked about Patriot way, like, whenever they leave. Like,
yeah, they have, but it's not like painted all over the place and they say, hey guys, you got to do it the Patriot way. Like, that turns corny.
No, I think it's just the culture. This is what the culture of the Patriot way is. It's like the Colts. We had a winning culture there for a long time, and then it literally got painted over. I mean, literally.
It still confuses me.
Me too. Didn't make any sense. I'm happy to see. I had never talked to Robert about any of that, by the way. I try to keep my conversations with, fluff conversations, have a good time. Oh, a little business conversation, let's do that. But that whole year, like, those OGs, just a whole different. I mean, they've been around a lot longer. They built that culture for a lot longer than I had. I mean, I came in there 3 years, tried to do my best to fit in, but they built that culture and then it just got completely ruined. The Patriot way, I think that is talked about as alumni guys that have left. Like, hey, this is how we do it. This is how we did it. And I think that's kind of how it got spurned. But obviously, Bill Belichick's the head of that Patriot way because these are his expectations. This is what he's expecting of you. You're going to be the consummate pro at all times, every meeting, every workout, every practice, in the locker room. room, on the road, in your hotel, when you're wiping your ass. You are doing everything in this professionalism. We are expecting you to be this professional. And I would say a lot of teams hope for that and strive for that, but the culture just isn't that. It seems like it has been that in New England, and you add in Cam Newton there with a chip on his shoulder. I mean, geez Louise.
Is Cam too good to the point where, like, the whole Belichick-Brady debate, you know, even if Belichick does well without Brady, they'll still say, well, he had Cam Newton. It's still more Brady than it was Belichick?
I don't.
Depends who you're talking to. Are you talking to a Patriots fan or the other 49 states?
49 states. the other 49.
Well, New England, by the way, is like, what, 8 states?
Yes, 4. But, yeah, 8.
4?
Yeah, 4. New England, Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts. Rhode Island, maybe 5.
New England's not a.
What about Maine? Maine is not?
Did I say Massachusetts? Yeah, no, Maine's part of it. Maine's part
Okay, so
of it.
Maine,
New Hampshire.
Vermont,
New Hampshire. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut.
I don't think Connecticut's not in New England, no. But I think Rhode Island is.
I'm on it.
I know Connecticut is not.
It's interesting. New York is not a part of New England.
No.
But it is New York.
6.
So I was
Oh,
right.
Connecticut's in.
Not really. He was right, I guess.
No, you split the
No,
difference.
you were right.
Yeah, but
I only
Price
had
is right.
5.
I'm over.
Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island,
5. Oh, yeah, cool.
Connecticut.
Connecticut. So
Connecticut
6.
isn't.
6. Yeah.
Connecticut, good for them. Happy for Connecticut. Good day.
Is 4th of July massive up there, I'd assume?
Oh, yeah, huge. 4th of July on Cape Cod is a good time. I have been kicked in the face, but still a good time.
Is there a Minute Med?
Couldn't even imagine it this year when you guys got a quarterback again.
Hey, if you back up 12 seconds, didn't Connor say after he mentioned all this, and I don't claim to know geography as well as Connor, but he said, well, I know for a fact Connecticut is not in there.
Yeah, that's what you're getting though. And this morning he woke up with a brand new fucking energy. I mean, I went on a speech earlier on the earlier show about how Tony Khan, Shad Khan, David Caldwell, and the Jacksonville Jaguars owe us all an apology. Okay? They owe us all.
Why is that the only team that owes you an
Because they
apology?
stink.
Are there any other teams?
They brought in Mike Glennon as their backup quarterback. Like, no offense to Mike Glennon. Hey, Mike Glennon, probably an incredible backup quarterback. A backup quarterback's job, much like a vice president to a president, is to serve the starter, right? So I understand that. But now you're saying Gardner Minshew is 100% your guy, and we're behind this guy more than we would be behind anybody else. He wasn't that big of an investment. Who was it? 5th-round draft pick? Mm-hmm. He had 1 year of kind of success. They weren't even that successful, but they got a fan base. Is that going to wear off? Is Gardner Minshew going to be worth a single fuck next year? Nobody has a clue. But if he isn't, good news. Bring in Glennon. You're off and running.
True.
And then while that's all happening, okay, I'm happy for them. You just started a fire in your house. Fucking good. Watch that bookcase behind you. Those books are kindling back there. Yeah. Watch that. So if the Patriots go on to dominate, though, which I'm
lighter. I didn't. Sorry about that. My old lighter died, and this thing is a
oh
monster.
my god, that was a fucking Elon Musk flamethrower that you just lit your cigar
What
with.
happened? How does this thing? I know I always turn them up, but yeah, that could be dangerous. Trying to light my eyebrows up.
Could be. Could you imagine if I hit the old water pipe with that thing?
Oh, see you next year.
See ya. You are dead. But whenever this Patriots team does very well, you know how hard it's going to be to listen to these people who were written off. Listen, they were written off. The Patriots were written off completely. Tom Brady's gone. Patriots stink. They were written off completely, these people. Like, it's over. Dynasty's over. Jared Stidham throws pick sixes. Brian Hoyer threw 5 picks last year. The other quarterbacks aren't even getting asked about in any of these commercials or any of these interviews. What are you guys going to do? You guys stink. They're like, we got Bill Belichick. We'll figure it out. And weren't they fucking right? Bill Belichick figured it out. He ended up paying $4 for an MVP quarterback to come in there and replace him. And it's going to work out. And this is all Jaguars' fault. Jaguars could have got Cam Newton out of New England. They chose not to. And that is on them.
But what if? Okay, so for
I'm going to
Jacksonville,
go shit in a pool. I'm going to go shit in one of their pools in a stadium.
Duval.
do it. They would be
It'll
happy
be
to
called
have you.
Pooval when I'm done.
You bring a lot of good publicity down there. They would love for you to go. Why are you so mad about it? I don't understand why you're so mad at the Jags. But you can't truly be mad at the Jags until we see what Gardner Minshew is. What if Gardner Minshew turns into the next stud
Cam
quarterback,
Newton?
a top 5 quarterback in the league? Then
Is he
you're
gonna be the
like,
next
why would
Cam Newton?
Look how dumb we were. Why'd we sign Cam?
Is Gardner Minshew the next Cam Newton? Maybe.
I don't know. No, I'm not saying he is. I'm
Maybe
saying,
he'll be an
but
MVP like Cam Newton. Maybe. Maybe.
Obviously, though, Pat, the Jacksonville Jaguars believe Gardner Minshew is the man.
No, they're looking for Trevor Lawrence, dog.
I don't know. If he fell into their lap, yes, they would. Who wouldn't want to have Trevor Lawrence?
Or they can
who
move
wouldn't
up like
give him
the
a chance?
Packers with Jordan Love. You know, Jacksonville could move up like the Packers did with Jordan Love. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just saying, until we see what Gardner Minshew is, I don't think you can 100% put this on the Jags.
But you don't have to be around Patriots fans every day, right?
No, I don't.
See, we do. That is why it is. Look at that. That's why it is a different ballgame for how I feel versus how you feel, because you, for good reason, this spoiled in the sports world kid is the most arrogant sports fan I've ever heard in my entire life. Okay? Arrogant. Worse than that little fucking kid that shows up at all those parades with the signs. Okay? Worse than that little kid. What's his name? You get that kid. Connor's worse than that kid. And Connor knows it.
Oh, yeah.
And now we thought that was potentially dead. He hopped over to the AFL to find a new team that he could potentially be like that for because he knew the Patriots were dead. It hit him just in the face last week that Tom Brady was no longer their quarterback. I mean, it hit him right. So we thought we were seeing a little humility from this guy for the first time when it comes to his sports fanhood. Okay? Really? Oh, guys, I'm going to figure out golf. Okay? He's starting to figure out golf. Hey, I like the AFL. He started saying, hey, Boston Bruins, still like them a little bit.
Hockey's cool.
Kind of moved off the Patriots thing. Was like, we might stink. I don't know, but it's okay. I'm finding other things. Now this signing, boom. He is right back to square one. Look at this. Look at this. That's why, AJ. That's why I blame the cons. That kid. That fucking kid. That's Connor, basically. Just Connor has...
Pretty close. I did go to all 8 of those parades in that 11-year span. So, I mean, we did essentially live the same life. Except I was older and got to enjoy it more, and it's been way more fun.
And louder.
I mean, it doesn't
and
louder.
louder.
Yeah.
See, Pat, I'm not around like diehard Patriots fan like that every single day, but I guess it doesn't bother me. To me, it's fun. It's funny. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. I'm like, hey, maybe I wouldn't act like that, but they have reason to act like that.
If I was them, I would act the exact same way.
They have every reason to do that.
I would be insufferable if the team I played on for 20 years was fucking 9 Super Bowls, 6 wins. I would be tough to. And if I was in the sports media world, everything I said would be gospel. By the way, like anything I said, like I was on a team 9 Super Bowls, 6 wins. Were you? No, okay, shut the fuck up. That's what I thought. Orlovsky, go ahead and shut the fuck up. It would be hard. I would be insufferable, which I understand why he is the way he is. I just thought that day was over. Like, I thought those ended, but no. The storybook continues. We're into extra innings now on this thing with an entire. And what happens in 5 years when Cam Newton gets tired and Bill Belichick's like 97 years old at that time? He's like, man, I think we can do it again. What other players getting fucked up? Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, we'll fucking bring in Aaron Rodgers now. Bang! Another 3 years of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's just, this could go forever.
Or, you know what? It definitely could go forever. Think about it. The plan is in place right now to keep this in the family. Belichick could coach another 10 years and turn the team over to Steve, who's coaching possibly a D coordinator right now.
Here.
I will say I love Steve Belichick.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
Me too.
I love the mullet. I love the way he talks exactly like his dad. He acts exactly like his dad.
Yeah.
Who did we talk to? Van Noy?
Uh-huh.
Van Noy said that he's good, too. He said, like, buddy Steve Belichick is good. Like, he'll listen to his players.
And think of Steve, too. Like, Steve's not playing the game either, to where most assistant coaches, geez, he looks amazing.
Weapon.
Like, most assistant coaches, they have to play the game to where they have an agent, and then their agent talks to media members, and they're trying to work their way up. So they've got to always float your name out there and get it written about in articles, like you're up for this job, you're interviewing for this or that. Like, Steve Belichick doesn't look like he's playing any games because you never hear about the dude. Like, he legit almost doesn't exist, but he's a big-time coach there.
Yeah.
Somebody in the YouTube comment section just called me insufferable. Yep, somebody in there did. Oh, he said Pats are insufferable. No, he said Pat is already.
You say Pat, or is he talking about Pat the Patriot, the mascot?
He is, by the way. Pat the Patriot.
Who is also number 1, by the way. So number 1 right now isn't actually a jersey on the roster. That is real. No one's worn it since 2002.
I wonder if Cam Newton wears the number 1 for the Patriots. It's the Patriots organization will just give number 1 jerseys to every fucking human that comes into the Patriots stadium like the Colts did. That'll be interesting.
Why don't they? You don't think they'll give him number 12?
He should wear 12.
He should wear
12 is on the table at the moment.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
12 should not be on the table.
That'd be awesome.
I just want to let you. If the Patriots just let somebody wear 12, very fucked up.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
I
would
would
be.
I would agree. I want him to be Agent Zero. I want him to wear 0. I think
Would be
great in
awesome
that.
if Cam Newton has 0 on it. Is that legal? Some league opened it up. NCAA maybe.
I think
I
so.
think talking about
Patriots,
it.
Yeah, because they added 00.
Pat, you think the Patriots would be cool if Cam came in and made a bunch of news the first 2 months because he was trying to lobby the league to open up 00?
Would be awesome.
College football can now wear 0.
College football can wear 0. The NFL cannot. College football probably not going to. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I feel like I'm normally a pretty positive guy. Today, can't take him already. Okay, for the rest of the. Can't take him for the rest of the thing because, I mean, how many teams did we pitch for Cam Newton to go to? 6. I think I pitched 6 different teams, and then New England was obviously always in there because they didn't have a quarterback. So I'm not happy about that. But college football feels like that one's going to be tough to get back.
Is it all because Morehouse shut down all their stuff? What was it?
I don't know anything about Morehouse shutting down their football program until a real program that makes I'm not saying Morehouse isn't a real program, but until a influencer program, a program that really
Bama.
changes things, then it'll be different. But I think the big issue is getting students back on campus because what you're doing, you see, is just calling for COVID-19 from all over the country to please come into one area, maybe international too, because the way schools are set up. Then let's move them all into one building as well. Let's assume that they all are going to at least say hello to each other with their penises. You know what I mean? There's going to be some stuff that goes on. COVID-19 is going to spread around that, and then it's going to stop. They're going to get quarantined. And universities, I would assume, are trying to figure out how this will be possible. How do we even do it? And if there's no students on universities on campus, can they have a football season? A lot of people are saying no because then if the students aren't there, they're just athletes. But if the students are all taking online classes, which has been happening, I guess, already, would then student athletes be able to do their online classes and play football in an open, empty stadium? Questions that have to be asked, and we assume will be asked within the next month or so, because this has to get figured out rather quickly.
Yeah, it's June 29th right now. First game's supposed to be August 20th, right?
Yeah, plus you got, 17 days of training camp before that, so...
Oh, hey, man, I saw this guy and I was asking him about, okay, let's say college football's playing and a stadium says we can have 25,000 fans. My question was, okay, I'm in Ohio State. I have tickets to Ohio State or whatever. Who gets the tickets? How do they decide those 20,000?
Boosters, obviously, whoever paid the most money.
Well, I talked to this one booster guy, and he goes, well, think about it. I don't think they're going to have the crazy demand that you think because he made, these different protocols on how they're getting people into the stadium, out of the stadium, all this stuff. They have all these different situations. This is how we'll sit 20,000. This is how we could seat 40,000, whatever. But he said there's, first off, there's no tailgating. That's all gone. So you can't tailgate.
I got to be sober while watching the Buckeyes?
No thanks.
Yeah, you got to sneak it in. You got to
O, pal!
you got to put it in some orifice and get it into the stadium, I guess, and find a way. But you can't do if it's a noon game, which I guess a lot of games will be at noon. They'll have an 8 to 9 group where you have to go in the stadium and stay there. You can't leave. Then there's a 9 to 10, so you may have to go to the game 3 hours early.
You can watch the kickers warm up.
There and hang out.
That's good. You get to watch the kickers warm up, pre-warm up. I've always said people should go in earlier, watch the show, enjoy the show.
They might do that. I think they might. There might be some schools thinking of for all those people coming there early, have something for them, like a lacrosse game or a different sport from that school playing at the same time.
Well, then you got to worry about those kids now on the field with it. I mean, it's going to be the college one is real because of all the hypocritical shit that the NCAA is either going to have to do or has done before. The NFL is going to happen. I mean, that's just going to happen. The NFL director of medicine has already come out, which I didn't know existed. He said, hey, Foch, you worry about your own shit. We'll figure it out. The NFL PA medical director, which I didn't know existed. I don't think you did. Tom Brady doesn't give a fuck he exists either. He came out and said that players can't be working out together. That's because they're both setting up for a big negotiation within the next couple of weeks about what training camp policies are and stuff like that. So you're going to see a lot of players not give a damn about what DeMaurice Smith or the medical professional from the NFLPA is saying. And the only reason why DeMaurice Smith and the NFLPA medical person is saying this is so that they have it written down. So whenever they get into the negotiation with the NFL, is we've always said this is how we feel. The NFL is like, well, your players are already doing it. So it's going to cause quite a commotion. But players do not give a damn what this guy has to say or what the NFLPA doctor has to say. All they're worrying about now is how can I be the best at what I do so I can make a living for my family moving forward? I'll let you keep all the legal bullshit that you guys need to handle behind closed doors. So I think that's going to be an ongoing problem for the NFLPA is the players are not going to listen to this, okay? This is not going to happen. But within the next couple of weeks, the NFLPA in the NFL are going to have to meet up on guidelines, expectations, how is it going to go, how many hours, like all that stuff. Just like the MLB and the MLBPA had to go through and the NBA and the MBPA are going through. That's all setting itself up right now. And you could see the NFLPA vamping for that, getting themselves ready from a legality standpoint. And the NFL is doing the same thing. But the NFL players do not give a single fuck about that. Not a single iota of shit is given about that.
Hey, who do you think? Do you think like there's members of the NFLPA that are sitting there like, hey, one of us has got to reach out to Tom. We got to let Tom know like you can't be doing these workouts. It's so public. And then they sit there like, well, I'm not doing it. And they got to give it to some intern's got to call poor Tom and tell him he can't do this anymore.
Yeah, and Tom will go, who are you? I'm an intern for the NFLPA.
Put DeMorris on the phone.
Who's your boss? DeMaurice Smith? Is he on the phone? No, he's not? Oh, I don't want to hear it then. I don't even want to hear it. Just get the hell. And by
he
the way,
doesn't even care if DeMorris was on there. He doesn't care.
Don't care. Hey, listen, DeMaurice, your job was to get the CBA done. Congrats. You guys did that. Very, very thankful. Now, what I need you to do is get the fuck out of the way. Okay? We're playing football. Now you just need to get out of the way. And Tim Hasselbeck this morning was rather hilarious, right? He said, like, these guys who are doing workouts, like, the workout still counts if you don't post about it. Like, if you don't take pictures or videos, like, the workout still counts. But they got a news team 6 flying over the Tampa Tom and the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers down there. There's nothing they could do. I think that it's going to be very tough to get these players, especially the Buccaneers who Tom feels like he probably needs to be around as much as possible so he can get in rhythm with. It's going to be very difficult to get these players to stop working out. And I think the NFLPA is potentially setting themselves up for massive embarrassment when nobody listens to a fucking word that they say. And that's just, hey, you got our Madden checks? Yeah. Okay, shut up. You got a CBA done? Yeah. Okay, shut up. How about that?
Yeah, the majority of NFL teams, like you could have 10, 12 players throwing to each other, throwing on a high school field, and no one's going to notice. Like they probably wouldn't realize it. But Tom Brady and them, they're going to obviously they got news helicopters following them. People are going to be checking on them to find it. But most people could do it, and if you don't post about it, maybe that's just what's going to happen. They're going to keep working out and not post about it.
This NFLPA has been a lot louder about these workouts than they ever were about me getting harassed for 27 months by the substance of abuse policy, which I reach out for help like 3-4 times. So it's hard for me to really give a fuck about what these guys say. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. You think I care? They tried to suspend me a game for my color of tape on my wrist.
Black, by the way. I heard you always wore black.
The NFLPA can't suspend me. The NFL tried to. The PA did not help a whole lot.
The NFLPA, I think a lot of people think because they hear them talk whenever these negotiations happen as if they're held in very high regard. They are not. They are. I am very impressed that Aaron Rodgers is a representative or whatever, because that is not just 10 years ago. And now, granted, that is a potential problem with our NFL is that none of our actual stars are in there.
It's the first time. I think this past year was the first year Aaron had in like 15 years that he'd been the rep.
Because being associated with the NFLPA is not a great thing. Okay, it's like you're going to fuck over the ex-players. Okay, like that. The ex-players are going to hate you. That's just what's going to happen. Whatever deal you get done with the NFL is not going to be good. You're going to get screwed. And then whenever you're actually needed, you're probably not going to be able to do anything anyway. So you're just like you're just kind of like sitting in a role that doesn't really accomplish anything. It's a tough task. Like I do not envy anybody that did. I was actually offered up to do it a couple times and I declined. No, thank you. I do not want to be a rep. No.
Yeah, the guy who took over, Eric Winston was like the president of the players. What was his title?
Eric Wood?
Eric Winston. Remember, he was like the president of the players union.
I don't know. President, may have been players president or something.
He was like the players president. Now J.C. Treader took over. I played with J.C. in Green Bay. He's in Cleveland. Super smart dude, like high Ivy League guy. But I just don't know what you get out of it, really. I guess great experience, resume builder. I don't know.
Yeah, I think everybody that does it is trying to potentially get into something afterwards where that helps out, and they probably want to help, I'd assume. But then when they get in there, I assume they're like, oh, we can't do shit. There's nothing we can learn.
It's like all politics. Oh, man, I got all these plans. Then you get there and like, all right, I guess I'm just going to hang out for 40 years.
I'm voting yay or nay right now. Yay. Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, because everybody else voted nay. All right.
Yeah, president of the NFLPA is their titles.
And what's Demore Smith?
Yeah, what's he?
A lot of those players get cut, by the way.
Executive
director. That guy's had this job for 15 years, by the way. I don't know how. Nobody knows.
Is
Nobody
that
knows
Jeff
how
Saturday
guy
over there?
has his jobs.
Over his shoulder?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Look
Jeff.
at Jeff Saturday
He
sitting
looks
back
healthy.
there. What's that?
He looks like healthy.
What do you mean?
He was still playing back then.
Yeah, that was when Jeff Saturday had went into Robert Kraft and negotiated a deal to end the CBA or whatever, allegedly.
They hugged, right? When were they hugged outside?
Yeah, they hugged, got a deal done, and then like as the months rolled out, every player went through the CBA and was like, well, this was a bad deal. James Harrison got fined like $700,000 in one game for a hit. And they're like, well, this shouldn't be allowed. Well, it was agreed to. All right. Okay. All right. The business stuff is always so stupid, though. It is always so stupid, but it's so real. Like Demore Smith and the Dr. Tom saying that you can't work out in groups is 1,000% just a legal setup for the negotiation period that's about to come up for the return to play. And it's like all the players know that at this point. So it's going to be, who knows? The NFL will get it done. I know that.
Yeah. Did you play with Jeff Saturday?
I did.
Yeah, so did I. He came to Green Bay.
Good eyes. You guys kind of just like threw him under the bus, didn't you?
Bro, you know what's crazy about Jeff? I love Jeff. He came in, he was like, what was he, 12, 13-year vet, stud, Pro Bowler. I love it. I talk to him all the time. And it just early on, like there was not bumpy. It wasn't bumpy, but he was just like transitioning to a new team after he'd been done it another way for a long, long time. And so like sometimes some of our inside drills and hitting things we do, he's like, are you kidding me? Like you come thump him in the side of the head. He's like, what are we doing here, man? Like, it was fun. It was fun to talk to him about how different teams do different things. But that year, Jeff was in Green Bay, started for, 7, 8, 9 games, and then he got benched. Gets benched after a long career, and the best part is he gets benched for however many games, and he still went to the Pro Bowl.
Still made a Pro Bowl. Snapped it to Peyton in the Pro Bowl, had that big moment or whatever. You guys practiced on Saturday too, right? Didn't you?
Yeah, they made that switch in Green Bay. I don't know what they're doing now, but yeah, McCarthy did my last maybe 3 years where Friday is considered like a non-practice day, and you do like they have people available to you roll out, and you could get massage maybe for a little bit, and you do like different little regen workouts after you do walkthroughs and meetings. But then Saturday you come have meetings and you actually get on the field and practice for like an hour.
Yeah, and I think some like Chip Kelly, sports scientist, said that's
Like
actually
a quick twitch thing. Yeah, like if you get out and you do on Saturday. If you get out and you move around, not too much, don't like exhaust yourself. It somehow primes your quick twitch or something.
Yeah, whatever it is. But when I saw that the Packers did that, whenever I went and called the Lions-Packers game, and J.K. Scott was punting full session on Saturday, and Mason Crosby was kicking full field goal session, I thought to myself, I was like, oh, if I went to another team and these motherfuckers tried to make me do this, I don't know how I would react. I don't, and I couldn't, like Jeff Saturday, 13 years doing something one exact way with the same quarterback. You go somewhere else and they're like, oh, this is what you're going to do now, by the way. You're going to do one-on-ones on Saturday with a defensive lineman. It's like, who is? I'm doing that? No way. I am napping today, okay? I am in the cold tub today, and then I will see you tomorrow. But watching JK and Mason Crosby, I think he hit like a 58-yarder or something on Saturday. These weren't just like little casual things. I'm like, you kick on Saturdays? He's like, oh yeah, it's our thing here every single week. I was like, not me, dog.
I'd have to ask. I don't want to ask. He must want to do that. Don't they usually make the schedule with like what days you kick? Doesn't your special team coach see what works best for you?
Yeah, that'd be on him, I guess. Wow. I don't know. I did it too. I like going Wednesday, Thursday as hard as possible. I'm going to punt like 100 balls on Wednesday. I'm going to kick off, kick field goals, and punt on Thursday. And then Friday, I'm going to hold for Vinatieri, maybe run a few fakes, touchdowns, what's good. And then Saturday, I'm going to sleep. And then Sunday, the legs are all the way back, baby. We got 48 hours of rest. You might as well come right out of spring break at that point. Every single week, put that on repeat. And I see Mason bombing balls there for the game. I'm like, did I do this wrong my entire career? No, I didn't. I felt good. I felt very
Mason's
good.
got a big leg, doesn't he?
Who?
Mason.
Yeah, big leg. Well, he
Makes it look easy. Mason he'll pop balls from like 52 and make it look easy.
Yeah, he's good. He also went to Colorado, so I think the
Thin air.
very thin. Yeah, that ball flies. It's beautiful up there. But Mason obviously has a big leg. But coming out there, like, this kid has a massive leg. He has a massive leg. But he was also kicking at like 7,000 feet above sea level whenever he was at school. But then he went over to Green Bay. It transitioned very nicely. I mean, that is not an easy place to kick. He does have a big leg. Yeah, concur.
Very
Even
good.
more so, rest that son of a bitch up on Saturday so that whenever you come out on Sunday, it is gone. Go time. But I do a lot longer warm up on Sunday because I have to get the rust from, Friday, Saturday off. Mason just comes out there. He's probably feeling good. So, tomato.
Everybody's got their
Cincinnati
own
do
way.
anything different?
What's up?
Cincinnati do anything different?
They did the year I got there. They switched to the Friday kind of off day, Saturday practice.
Outside?
Always outside. We walk through outside.
That's it.
Yikes.
Walk through in the full blown snow, and you got enough coats on. You look like the State Puff Marshmallow Man because you have so many starter coats you took from your locker.
What did Huber do? Huber just goes out there and stands there?
Yeah, I don't even know if they came out for walkthrough.
It'd be tough to find me.
Actually, you know what? Huber and Nuge, I don't know how late in the season, but during camp, and I know they would get upset with it. I would be like, what are you guys doing? They would run routes that when we would be on defense, we'd be walking through. Say you walk through at 10 a.m., you don't practice till 12:30. Nuge and Huber and our long snapper will be running routes, and the coaches were yelling at them to not be, if they weren't running full speed, if they were running like the wrong depth. And Nuge is like, I've been kicking the league 13 years. Can we find somebody else? There's 38 guys right there that are undrafted. Can any of them come in here and run a route?
Well, you got to put that penny on your hat too, right? Tight end
Yep.
penny or
Oh,
wide
they have to
rec-
change it all the time too. Then they yell, he'll get lined up, and they're like, "What are you doing? You're the Z." He's like, "Okay, cool, my bad." He's got to change it off. Like it was. I felt
You're
bad
off
for
the
him a little
ball.
bit.
You're on the ball. You're inside the numbers. Anytime they have a tight lineup, don't worry about where he's lined up. It's actually different. Hey, he's supposed to be lined up inside the numbers. You see, because the rubber out. I mean, it's just.
You're
I'm
so
happy. I didn't
perfect.
have to
That's
do
that's exactly how it is with the defensive coaches yelling at poor kids like a long snapper who has to run routes like he's got to be Julian Edelman and walk through for us. Like good luck. It's awesome.
that. Tom McMahon, Mitt's dad, he used to love that period. He'd fucking put the penny on, and he was going full speed. I mean, it was.
That was his workout probably.
Yeah, and then he used to do these push-ups. I mean, he's 5'4", this guy. Okay, how tall is your dad? 5'4"?
He says he's 5'8".
No, well, he's lying. So he lied to his kid. He's like 5'5". He's this tiny little guy. In those periods, he used to be wide open. He would talk
Wait,
so
what was
much.
his title?
What's that?
What was his title? Job title?
Special teams coordinator, I believe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What is he over there? Is he assistant to head coach?
Special teams coordinator.
He should be assistant to head coach, I assume, at some
Wait,
point.
where is he?
Denver Broncos.
Oh, I didn't know any of this.
He was my coach. This kid's dad was my coach at Indianapolis for 4 years.
Oh, okay. So he used to get to come to practice and watch you and talk to you?
He has to shag balls, yeah. Long way,
the
though.
perks.
Admit. Long way.
It was a fun time.
Perks of being a coach's son, right?
It was awesome. Growing up.
I bet I could see Mitt going into coaching.
You think Mitt could go into coaching?
Mitt, you said.
He's got like that attention to detail. He's got everything, like all that you need to be a coach. He's got haters. He's got Connor on him all the time to kind of drive him and put that chip on his shoulder.
I'm trying to. I mean,
Oh my God,
Kid's
we are
always drunk.
getting YouTube spammed right now.
For what?
By who?
This one's called "Bitches Twat Waffle Shithole."
The bots are back. The bots are back.
The
Wait,
bots.
were they in the comment section?
Oh yeah, they are here. We got to go to battle.
Tubes, what's going on, Tubes?
How do I get rid of this?
You gotta right click them.
I don't
What are
even
they
know if I
what are
have
they
a right
putting up?
click.
Tubes and Zito and Phil fucking battling.
Get him out of there.
BTS will get you. They've been taking over Twitter. Hey, Twitter used to be an awesome place, by the way. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it's not awesome now, but right there in the middle of Twitter, you see wit. Twitter used to be a place where you had to have wit because you only have a certain amount of characters, and you're trying to make, you kind of learn about stuff and make light of stuff and that whole thing. Twitter now has become the go-to place to be pissed off for everybody. And I'm kind of bummed. I invested a lot of hours and a lot of time into Twitter, and now it's one of those places where anything you tweet, anything, you are either going to get 100% love, 50% love, 50% hate, everything, every single thing you do. It's becoming an interesting time to be on the internet. I will tell you that. It's almost like these YouTube comment section are more positive than Twitter now.
You delete a lot more tweets that you're gonna send out now more than you actually send out.
Yeah, there's a lot more thought that goes in. Back in the day, it used to be like, let's send it out there. Now, I don't delete a lot of tweets. You can go back through all my Twitter. I feel very comfortable with anybody that's supposed to going to go back and dig up, which is what's going on. I'm very comfortable with everything I've ever said and done. All good. But boy, whenever you put a thing about putting a tweet out now in 2020, you got to really feel good about it. Because there's no more just casual tweets like, oh, this thing's a fucking joke. It's, what's a joke? That's somebody's life. I love that What are you talking about? That's not a joke. It's like, all right.
It's my favorite one.
I mean, at some point, you can't let like those few people bother you, though, right?
No, but it's not those few people, AJ. It's
majority.
In reality, though, it's not as large a group as you think. If you think like
concur,
people are getting
listen,
hate.
I concur 100%. I've been, I think, one of the main drivers on Twitter for years now at this point. I think my stats would even show the amount of action that I've had on there and everything like that. And whenever you have let's say you have a podcast that gets 100,000 downloads, okay, let's just say that, and you get 100 tweets about something from your podcast. When you look at your notifications, 100 tweets is a lot of fucking tweets. But then you have to remember, okay, in the grand scheme of things, with 100,000 people, whatever. But nowadays, if I just want to put a tweet, like last night, the Decision documentary on ESPN was shit. It was a terrible documentary. I thought it was bad. I didn't think it was that good. I didn't really learn anything. The guy, Don Von Natta, whatever the hell his name is, his entire end speech about how athletes are allowed to make their own messages now. Before that, journalists controlled everything. Like, his entire message was like, yeah, no shit, bud. By the way, you're also like 10 years behind. This is what social media has done. It was like this epiphany moment for him about how LeBron and the Decision was kind of like this moment where athletes took control of their own messaging, their own narrative, their own truth. And his whole thing was like, like journalists used to be that with the full truth. And I'm like, well, that's not a fucking fair. It was
terrible.
Your
this
version
sounds like an
of
awful
truth.
Documentary.
Yeah, it was just bad. It was just a bad documentary. Didn't learn anything really. Didn't learn.
Was it 30 for 30?
I don't know if it was 30 for 30. It was called The Backstory with Don Von Natta, or whatever his name is. And it was just, the only thing I learned is that LeBron James and Kanye West had a buffet-style meal before he drove over to the Boys and Girls Club in Greenwich, Connecticut to do his announcement. And then I also learned that his PR person and his agent both got fired after that from Maverick and Paul, I believe. Yeah. So I did learn some things. But the overall narrative from this journalist guy was like, well, players now control their own narrative, but there will always be a need for journalists to tell the full truth. It's like, well, that's not true, actually. That is your what your version of the full truth is why player. So I just thought it was bad. But if I was to say that, Don Von Natta's entire crew probably comes after me last night. That's what Twitter is now. Boom, 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 bam, boom, boom. So I just held it in until now, where I can completely say that guy's fucking documentary stunk. That thing absolutely stunk last night. But I was enjoying it while watching it.
I mean, you're giving Don Von Natta's Twitter army a lot of credit. Do you think he has that big of a crew that's going to follow him and come after you?
No, but his overall message was that journalists don't matter anymore, really, and I concur. So I think that's what
is he a journalist? What is he?
Oh yeah, he was writing for Sports Illustrated.
So was it like a piece to say like, "Woe is me," like feel sorry for me?
No, it was kind of like, I guess the whole narrative of the thing was that LeBron and his guys, when they made the decision, shook up the way everything happens. Nobody knew who he was picking before he went up on that stage. He's the one who asked for an hour on ESPN. He's the one that asked for the interviewer. He's the one, LeBron, not just his team. Like, LeBron decided that he was going to control the entire message, the entire narrative, and he was going to do his own thing. So obviously with that came a lot of old whites who have done something the same exact way for a long time, who are pissed off, who probably helped shape the narrative of being super negative, by the way, now that we hindsight it, because he cucked them all. And that was kind of the narrative of his entire message at the end, was like, athletes, that was the big bang moment for athletes starting to control their own message. It was like, no, that's social media, bro. Like that's just completely cucking you guys out of the picture.
Yeah, that wasn't the moment. Like that moment, I think, don't you think LeBron, a lot of people, well, I guess I was in Ohio, so I have a jaded view of it. I feel like a lot of people turned on LeBron, obviously.
Well, and then he embraced that, right? So by the time he had landed in Miami, he took a Hawker down there, by a Hawker 750.
Really?
Thought it would have been a bigger plane, but We fly on those all the time. That was kind of a little side note in the doc that I saw. That was like, oh, a Hawker. They took a Hawker down there. Pretty good. They landed at Millionaire, which I think I had landed at the same exact Millionaire before. So felt like I was potentially a part of LeBron's crew. But by the time they landed, they had already read Dan Gilbert's Comic Sans 12-inch font single space piece where he talked about how, I forget everything he said back. And by the time LeBron landed, he said in that documentary that basically LeBron had accepted, like, okay, I'm gonna be the bad guy. Like he felt as if he was the bad guy. And then when I went to Miami and they had the whole arena and then they started, it was cool to relive it all, but there was no new information that came out from it aside from he had a buffet breakfast with Kanye or a buffet dinner with Kanye
Didn't know that.
beforehand going over there. That was a pretty big piece of information. But it was
Did Kanye know? You think Kanye knew he was going to Miami?
Oh yeah.
LeBron said his mom knew and his people knew. I don't know if Kanye did, though. Kanye was sitting in the crowd amongst the Boys and Girls Club.
He was.
I did not know
Okay.
that. That was a piece of.
I'm glad I didn't know this documentary was even on last night.
It's called The Backstory, and the K had a couple arrows, so it wasn't actually a K.
Well, have we been? Are we all? I guess are we jaded by the whatever the Last Dance doc? Is that why like we're comparing everything to that?
Well, yeah, and also, like, I don't really like journalists that much, so like hearing them go, "Woe is me, we can't control the narrative anymore," like, don't really.
They can. There's plenty of journalists with huge followings that can. Like, I mean, look at Schefter. He's a journalist, right?
Yeah, but boom, that'll get shot down very quickly on the internet. If you're wrong about something, it is going to come out. I mean, it is. Back in the day, they used to control everything. They used to control who were the stars, what messages were out there. I mean, if I'm an old school reporter, I can see how I'd be pissed off about the modern world because old school reporters controlled who everybody knew. Like, if you were a player that people knew, cool. If you did anything that was good, they said it. If you did anything bad, they're the ones. They controlled the narrative through and through. And in this guy's life, in his eyes, the decision was the moment where it all started changing, where the players started controlling their narrative. It was like, no, I think that was social media. Whenever you guys kind of just got cut out, the spin and the middleman just kind of got a little boop, boop, boop. But talented brains are always going to pay off, even in the modern world. So I think a lot of schlappy journalists potentially got run off, as opposed to,
I could understand, like, if I was a journalist, like, say you were in a open locker room after an NFL game, you went up to a player and you asked him some questions, like, stuff happened during the game, whatever, you ask him, and he gives you the cliche answers, like, I just got to take it one play at a time, one day at a time, I'm just going to keep my head down, working hard. But then you're like, okay, cool, I got some great quotes to put in this piece that no one's going to care about. I can't put some headline in there about how he hates his coach or whatever. And then the kid goes home on his drive home, he tweets 5 consecutive tweets about how the organization sucks, the head coach sucks, I don't get the ball enough, all this stuff. And the guy's like, man, like, I can understand, I guess, how that could be frustrating.
No, that guy stinks at his job. But
You're right. I mean, you're right. You should have got it out of him because the kid had it in there. If you would have maybe asked the right questions, maybe you could have got it out.
The issue with the journalists is they already have their piece written. They're just trying to find those quotes and create those quotes from somebody to fill in there, right? That's like to the not all of them. Not all of them, by the way. There's a lot of very talented journalists. I am not talking about them, obviously, but there was a lot of journalists who they already had their piece written. They're just looking for somebody to give them a quote that fits in to their things. And that's where the whole narrative, that's why the Don Vaughn, whatever his name was like, there's always going to be journalists who tell the full truth. And it's like, I think that's potentially why social media kind of took over for you guys, is because what you view as the full truth is actually your version of the truth, as opposed to anybody else where you can just go directly to the source. But that whole moment was pretty big. LeBron and his people, by the way, did not respond to this guy.
Really?
To Dawn?
No comments, no nothing, because they already covered it on Uninterrupted or whatever. And that was his entire leadoff piece to what he was talking about at the end. He was like, reach out to LeBron's team was left unread or whatever, because they've already covered it on Uninterrupted in their narrative and their story and blah, blah, blah. And that's how he led into the whole thing. But it just, I don't know.
Do you think that's why MJ was always hanging out with Ahmad Rashad, because he was a reporter at the time, correct? So it was much easier to have a dialogue back and forth with someone.
Bronny always has Windhurst with him or whatever.
Yeah,
It's just,
Wendy, yeah.
I don't think he's smoking cigars playing golf with Windhorst, though.
True.
I mean, how about in that doc, though, Pat, where Michael Jordan's driving into his last game at home, right? And Ahmad Rashad's sitting shotgun. There's a camera in the back, and Jordan's just smoking a big old cigar on the way in.
Windows up.
Yeah, of course. Window, not even a cracked window. That's the best.
Cigar windows up.
Can you imagine the poor guy in the back? Probably got some smoke allergy, filming all this, just dying. Wishes he had a gas mask.
AJ, I bet you had a pretty good relationship with most journalists. Not me. I was only written about when I did something bad, so I fucking hated them.
I mean, I'm sure some of them would definitely say like they thought I wasn't around enough. But I mean, I always respect them. I told them I respect your job. I respect you have a story to write. You have something to do. But a lot of times I didn't know a lot of things they were talking about. If they would ask me something that somebody else said or whatever, I always thought it's all or nothing. Like if you're going to read stuff about yourself or even like the team, I'm not sitting there with Google alerts on what's going on in the Packers when I was there.
I never did media, ever. I was available, just was never asked anything.
Or just stand at your locker with your towel on, waiting, or what?
No, I had to sit there for 10 minutes or whatever when they were there. So I'd start like a dice game or something for 10 minutes, sit there, and then as soon as that was up, I was gone. The only time they talked about me was when I did something wrong, though.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's the position.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was breaking records a lot.
No big deal.
Some say the greatest to ever do it, but. And my Twitter was on fire. I was the biggest platform in Indiana at one point.
Charity.
I mean, there was a lot of reasons to talk, but they never talked to me. A couple of them. This is once again me saying most of the people that I've encountered very good in Indianapolis, but the overall census, like for instance, I had a journalist from Sports Illustrated, some big swinging dick he thought he was. I was asked if I would go speak to him about Vinatieri when Vinatieri did something or whatever. I'm like, sure, I'll talk to this guy or whatever. I don't normally do this. I go up and talk to him. He calls me Matt Overton, the long snapper, for the 5 minutes, our 5 minute conversation. He called me Matt. When you're snapping, what do you? So I just did the entire interview as Matt Overton, and I fucking just left. I was like, I'm never fucking talking to that guy again. Like, how does that guy have his job?
What was the story about that he wanted to talk to the long snapper?
It was about Vinny. So it was something about Vinatieri. So it was.
So
like,
you answered as Matt Overton for the whole 5 minutes. Did the guy ever figure it out?
No. And I left and I told Conti, the Colts PR guy, I'm like, never fucking have me do that again. The guy just called me Matt Overton this entire time. He was like, did he really? I was like, yeah. He was like, did you tell him? I was like, no. He's like, why? Why didn't you tell him? I'm like, why didn't you tell him?
I'm with you.
Was the
I'm with
article
you. I wouldn't
released?
tell them. People have mistaken me for other people all the time. I just go with it. You never like correct them.
I mean, for instance, Reggie Bush had no idea I played football, and I was going to run with that until he never said the whole story about Vince Young and the Heisman thing. I said I heard from people that were in the locker room. I was going to continue that until he figured it out. Shout out like 30 minutes in.
Was that article released?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, God.
I'm pretty sure. I wonder, probably the most explosive Overton quotes of all time. I wonder what I said. I'm gonna look for
Did guys used to go in there and just like gaslight a couple different guys every week, trying like knowing that like, okay, we might be able to get something out of this guy?
ESPN stopped showing up. So like whenever ESPN stopped showing up, I think that's when it was only the local. And the local people here are all good. Like the local Indianapolis people, I don't think they mean any harm. Like there was a little beef with one guy who basically said that he heard Chuck was fired like mid-season. He wrote an entire article about it. And I would assume there was maybe some smoke there. Or I don't know. But that guy got blacklisted from the locker room, obviously. It was like, this guy can't talk to him. He said our coach is fired or whatever. Not me. I don't talk to any media anyways. But aside from that, all the local media was good. It was all those national buffoons that I just couldn't take them serious. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They act like they matter so much. Mm-hmm. Like you don't. Hey, you don't matter, okay? If there's none of this, there's literally nothing to you. And I think that.
Why don't you name names?
Huh?
Why don't you name names? Who? Like, who are you talking about?
People know exactly who I'm talking about.
I don't, so I don't know how they would.
You know who I'm talking about, though.
What national medium? Like, there's a ton of them.
Okay? You think that, so you already know. I only think there's a few national people I just can't. I would like smack them in the mouth. Like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I know a couple.
Right in the mouth.
Some of them definitely come in like, okay, hey, the king has arrived. Here I am. I will grant you some time with uninterrupted FaceTime with me.
Exactly. When they come walking into the locker room as if it's their locker room, I'm like, first of all, get the fuck out of the way of the cornhole boards, okay? I don't care who you're talking to. You need to move, okay? I don't know who you are. I have no idea why you're here, blah, blah, blah. And then Conti was always the one who would have to come talk to me. Like, the rep from name insert big sports conglomerate here said that you hit them with a cornhole bag or something. Like, well, I shouldn't have been standing there.
Wait, who's Conti?
Conti was the Colts PR guy. Now he's the head Colts PR guy, but he had some battles with me. I feel bad for him. He's a good guy. Matt Conti, great at what he does, loves his position, works very hard for the Colts. He's been there for a long time. But boy, he was always the one who had to come to me. If a tweet was bad that they didn't like, if I said something to a reporter in passing in jest while they were in front of my fucking locker while I'm trying to get dressed, get the fuck out of here, I don't care. He was always the one who had to be like Pat, the insert name of person here just said you said blah, blah, blah. I said, is that what I said? Should have went a little harder. So I always had to do I'm sorry, I didn't know this was, you guys were curing cancer here. I'm so sorry, I didn't know that. So, I mean, my relationship with the media is very interesting. Very, very interesting.
I love hearing that because I know you pretty well now, and you don't have that strong of feelings about many people.
I didn't get along with the media. Mostly because in my position, too, kicker and punter, nobody knew what the fuck was going on. So the only people that would tell anybody if they were good or not were these media members who had no clue.
True. Yeah,
so I had big beef with them. I'm like, I've had 0 return yards in kickoffs and punts through 8 weeks, and not one of you motherfuckers have said, well, what this guy's doing is the most impressive thing maybe to ever happen to ball kicking. Instead, it was like, oh, this guy, he's loud, he's a clown, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, yeah, all those things are accurate, but also let's not diminish what I'm doing out there. So I had a little bit of beef. With them. A little bit.
Respect the brand.
Also, the NFL Network, there's a lot of people on there that came after me, a lot of people on ESPN that came after me.
Wait, came after you for what? Like when? Why were people coming after you all the time?
They come after kickers and punters. You don't know what that's like. Whenever
they come after punters, kickers maybe. I don't know punters as
kickers
much.
And punters, it always gets lumped in together. I told somebody at NFL Network that they're lucky I don't retire because I'll take their position and fucking make the ratings 3 times. That's what I told her. Publicly.
I mean, that's awesome. I'm so happy you did that to their face.
On the internet, but I'm trying to pull it up now. I have, by the way. I have done that, exactly that, and it's 5 times, not 3 times. But yeah, I have beef with a lot of media people, man. Used to old school media. Now they're all kind of getting pushed out.
I'm sure they all love you once they get to know you.
Well, I'll tell you what. Me and hold on, I'm searching Pat McAfee NFL Network. See where
was it an on-air personality there?
Yeah. I forget who it was.
You saying they came after you like they make a joke like that punters and kickers don't matter?
Oh, here we go. Heard the NFL Network was talking shit on a punter voicing his opinion. That was me, by the way. I'll do a punter podcast and triple your ratings / entertainment value. Rich Eisen goes, easy. Not everyone here understands what happens, says Rich. And I would love to know what I responded to him. I did not. I did not respond to him. That got 10,000 likes, which don't mean anything, 3,000 retweets. But yeah. I do not. A lot of people in these medias, they talk badly about kickers and punters, so I immediately had a little bit of beef with them, especially when I see their fat, slobby-ass bodies walk into the weight room, in the locker room. And I go, listen here, you bag of pears, all right? You don't talk about what I got going on, all right? I don't need, if you want to say, if you're a former player and you want to bash kickers and punters, I'm cool with it, okay? If you played the game and you've run your face and head into people and probably got CTE and shit like that, like this guy, you can do all you want to do. Okay, you can bash kickers and punters. But if you're some fat slob that sat behind a keyboard at one point or a typewriter at one point, just shut up. Okay, just shut it. And I had that. That's a deep feeling I've had for a long time. A long time. I guess it was Heath Evans, by the way. Real shame.
Heath.
A lot of people under here are saying it was Heath Evans that was doing that talking.
Yeah, I know Heath.
Heath Evans has played football before, though, so I should not be that upset. But I have tripled his ratings and his entertainment value at least. So I feel pretty good about that.
As you should.
5 times.
That was in 2017, by the way. I retired a year later. Yeah.
Well, you weren't lying. I mean, it's the thing. You're one of the few guys that could actually do that, though, because you do have this platform that you built yourself. You have the personality. You do, this is what you do. There's no other Pat McAfees out there.
Well, and I'm very spiteful. So, I will hold a grudge on them.
That's a very common athlete trait for people to have.
That's why Cam Newton's going to be so good.
Yep.
You know
Who's
what
he
I mean?
holding the grudge? Is it just against everybody?
Carolina
Who's-
Panthers. At
Who's number one?
least.
Not Matt Rule though. Matt Rule. Do you think he blames Matt Rule?
The timing of that release, while signing Teddy for the exact same price, basically, Cam Newton definitely holds that against Carolina Panthers.
Every team that passed on him, right?
Oh, yeah, and all these other teams that could have signed him. I mean, he's definitely doing the whole, as he should. I would, if I was him, for sure. For sure. I'm happy we dug into my hate a little bit. I got a little bit down here.
Yeah.
Let it out.
Yeah, but I don't want the wrong people to think I was talking about them, and they know, though. The journalists know if they're in that world that I'm talking about. It's just like a lot
Like
of these
anything
people.
else. Yeah.
What's that?
It's like anything. Like you, sometimes we'll get caught in saying like, "Oh, they're all everyone." It's never everyone. There's a handful of scrubs. Like we know that.
Yeah. And I started writing almost, by the way, to bury one motherfucker because I don't have a writing credit in my thing yet. And I was like, I can write better than you too. I will write right now. I'm actually thinking about still doing that.
I think you should.
Well, I don't have time. Writing takes a long time. Like people that write, I don't know how they have the time.
How about you could have Connor be your ghostwriter where
No,
you
no,
just
no.
kind of voice
Nope.
things that
No. No way. No way.
I bet
No
Zito would
way.
be good. Zito could do it.
No way.
A lot of misspelled words.
Hey, you get a spell check. You're good.
Yeah, we can
Do you ever
do it.
write?
You would think that.
You ever write anything?
Yeah, I mean, I've done some of those like Players Tribune type things where you don't really write it. I mean,
Whoa.
they wanted to put stuff out. Like sometimes, a couple of times I did it, and they'd want to like you talk to them for a long time and tell them what you want to do, and then they kind of put something together and send it to you. And a couple of times, man, like I had to change the whole thing. So yeah, I pretty much ended up writing it.
I do a lot of writing. I think people would be surprised by the amount of writing that I do.
Like what kind of writing?
You name it. I got like 3 screenplays ready to go. I got a bunch of poems. I got rap songs, country songs, stories, blogs, memoirs, you name it.
Where do you store? Like, do you physically write? Do you type it? Where do you put it?
My notes section of my phone.
You type it all on your phone? Mm-hmm. Don't you think, like, my thumbs already have bad, like, arthritis. I think from holding and texting, and I don't use my phone that, like, a whole lot, but still, my thumbs already suck.
Well, you got to remember, I didn't have to hit anybody. You know, like, I didn't have to do this number here on people.
Yeah.
Unless you're Cobra striking.
Unless what?
Unless you were doing a little Cobra strike.
Well, I did. Yeah, but some,
Yeah, bang,
you know what I mean? I keep the hands
bang.
out of it. Do you have any fucked up fingers?
I mean, like, my pinkies are weird. My pinkies are...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously, this finger is the one that went sideways. I had to get the thing out of my wrist and hold it in my
That is
knuckle.
gross.
Yeah, that's probably why you probably can't hold your phone in there because it probably slips through the cracks.
These ones work. You see, these, my thumb and these 2 fingers on each hand work. So I got like 6 good fingers that work when I do pull-ups.
What
and
did you
stuff.
do? Did you wrap them?
Well, this one went sideways for like for about 3 months, and I had to get it fixed after the year. I just buddy taped it to my pinky, but my pinky sucked too. So, yeah,
Did you do this tape?
yeah. That's why especially when my ring finger was messed up, I did buddy tape for my last 3 or 4 years at least, and then over time, the pinky things are weird. You got to wear these little splints if you want it to straighten out
yeah.
right when it happens, whenever you tear whatever's going on in there. And like, hey, if you take the splints off of your pinkies like one time in the next 8 or 12 weeks, you go right back to 0, and you're gonna have to, you might get surgery. I'm like, okay, don't even give me the splints. There's no chance I'm not taking those off.
Did you ever do the shoulder put back into place thing? That one always freaks me out.
No, I've been lucky. I mean, I tore my pec, but I've never had any shoulder issues.
Let it hang.
You know, people come jogging over like this, and then they and then they pull it and it pops back into place, and they're like, whew, and then they just jog back on the field. I'm always like, how does the body do that? How is that how the body operates? Your shoulder, they're just dangling there like this in so much pain, and then it's like, poof. All right, you didn't miss a play. Go ahead and get back out there. They haven't called a snap yet. I mean, it's just.
I think I've seen. I saw Garth one time. I saw a video from one of his concerts where he did that mid-song.
Sometimes your shoulder's going to hop out of place, but the things they say about places is you're never out of place. You're in the place you're supposed to be, and that place is right here, right now.
Then you got to pop your shoulder back.
You know, I popped my shoulder back like that bitch used to do it on her backside there, front row. But we had to turn that down a little because we are a family-friendly show. But hey, family-friendly can only happen if the families are made. And how are the families made? Fucking. Did you finish that Garth Brooks thing?
No, I've looked at it, part 2. I looked at it on my Apple TV and everything, and I just didn't pull the trigger.
I muted it. I got it out of there. It doesn't even show up in the recommendations anymore. That thing might as well not even exist. Bert Kreischer's doing those drive-in shows. They look like a good time.
You see the fireworks?
Has he already had them? He's already had a few of them?
Indianapolis, he came last week or whatever, last Friday. We weren't in town. I wasn't invited, but we were not in town.
I saw some videos. There was fireworks at the end. Everyone's honking their horns at the end of the show.
I know.
It's a pretty cool little thing.
It seems electric. Maybe we just only do drive-in shows.
I like that idea.
I think he's doing Tennessee today too.
That's a good idea.
Well, that dude, what happened? The dude Chase Young had a concert with 4,000 people jammed in?
Chase Rice. So Chase Rice did a concert down in Tennessee. It's a venue that holds 10,000. They cut that down to 40%, 4,000. They said only 1,000 people came. So they thought they were doing it right, but I guess as soon as Chase started playing music, they all sprinted to the stage. So the pictures are obviously not socially distant. They said they gave the temperature and everything like that. And you got other artists now coming after Chase because Chase is doing a show and making money while they're not allowed to because they're quarantining or whatever. They're shutting down bars in Pittsburgh. They're shutting down shit in Florida. They're shutting down. If they think they're going to get Americans to go back inside, I do believe they have another thing coming.
Yeah, I just came from Florida, and I know they're shutting down some beaches in different areas. I don't know if up where I was in top Florida, if they're shutting those beaches down, but they were alive and kicking everywhere. Like I guess they limited capacity at different restaurants and stuff. We were outside mainly, but. Yeah, there's people going about like nothing's really happening. So I hope it doesn't backfire.
Now it's a big mask battle.
Of course.
If you wear a mask, you care about people. If you don't wear a mask, you're a fucking scumbag, is what they're saying on the internet. We were forced to wear a mask in Michigan.
Yeah.
Went to a grocery store, didn't have a mask, had put on a mask. Somebody brought the McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk mask, put the mask on. Pretty nice, by the way. Pretty nice mask. But that is the first time I don't really go anywhere. I go work and go home. That's the first time I've ever gone somewhere that they forced me to put a mask on. And I did. And everybody in there was doing it. A little difficult to breathe. But hey, I got to hide my big old sniffer. It almost made me look better, I think, to be honest. Maybe it's going to be my move. But I had never been somewhere. And this is, once again, I don't go anywhere. I am very much a homebody. This is the first time I was forced to wear it. And the whole crew, the whole store was rocking it. It feels like that was the right move. That was up there in Michigan.
Yeah, how was the golf trip? I'm sure you guys talked about it, but how'd it go?
It wasn't bad. Got very, very, very baked.
On this planet.
Like, okay, how much, like, multiplied times a normal day or situation
so
for you?
if I was to put an X on where I'm at right now to where I was, let's say Friday, Saturday, or Thursday night, I'd put a next maybe 15 to 20x what I am right now. Ty and I were really going. There was these Rice Krispie treats there because in Michigan everything's legal. There was these Rice Krispie treats that might have been 50 to 60 milligrams per little Rice Krispie treat or whatever, right? Which is a lot. Standard's like 10 to 15 milligrams if you eat an edible. This one might have been 50 to 60, but it was homemade, so
who knows?
You don't know which bite you're getting to. So it could be 75 depending on how the homemade thing goes. So me and Ty, we had some of the legal edibles that were like 15 per, 10 per, and Connor, I believe you were in on this game too. So those are feeling good, those get you going. Then there's a little bit of a smoky smoke sesh with the smokers, right? Ty's not that big of a...
Is this all on the course or what? When is this?
On the course, at the house that we rented, which was one of the most beautiful houses I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, the view of Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan is the Pacific Ocean, by the way. Like the sun was setting. I mean, it was...
It's awesome.
Gorgeous. I'd never been a lake guy. Never been to the lake. We went down in the water, did the whole thing. I almost drowned in a lake. I mean, there was a lot. I was real lake lifing it. But the smoking, we'd smoke, we'd take some edibles, we'd smoke. And then this Rice Krispie treat, though, was really a low-key killer. And we found that out on Friday night, I think. Yeah. Friday night, I take a whole thing, okay, eat the entire thing. was told immediately after eating it that do not eat the whole thing. Only eat about half of that. We're not sure where it is. Well, I'm already here. So I look at Ty, and I'm like, Ty, I can't be the only one that ate the entire thing. Like, come on. Like, this is, got to be in this together. Ty takes it. Ty heads to a place that I've never seen before, okay? Ty is sitting on the side. We had a little beer pong table going. Ty was sitting there like this for probably 4.5 hours, cackling every once in a while out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then I'd look at him, I go, how you doing?
I don't keep moving.
How you doing? Keep it moving. For 4 hours, he just sat there. So we were on, I was probably 15 to 20 times than I am right now, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Just different level of, it's unbelievable.
That first Rice Krispie was not the last Rice Krispie that you had.
No, yeah, I had 3 of them one night.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure at one point Pat just looked at me and he said he just had a plastic bag in his hand, completely empty. I had no idea. Hey, why do I have this plastic bag in my hands right now?
That was the Rice Krispie treat I just ate. I wanted to see, I wanted to see. So I took a lot of pride. One of my college roommates was there, and I took a lot of pride in being the guy in college and when I was younger that could drink with everybody, right? Like, I am going to stay with everybody here. So not only am I going to buy everybody shots, but the last person drinking, I'm going to be with you, okay? Like, I don't want to say I felt like the Undertaker, but I did, right? Like, that is honestly how I viewed it. Like, I viewed that as a mental battle. Now, the next day, I was always in a terrible spot, and this is why I think I'm going to die young because of this. I mean, it's just like, it's not good. But when it comes to this other particular thing in marijuana, I feel the same exact way. Like, I feel like it's a mental battle now. Like, when you get to that point, like, the conversation that's happening in between your ears is what's going to carry you through the rest of the night if you're going to operate or not. And Ty was having a lot of those conversations, I'd assume, over there on the side.
Oh, yeah.
And I assume Connor was having a few as well there. And some of the, but I was in the middle of a beer pong game a couple times, and there was maybe 13 cups on the table at some point because I could not see. I mean, I could not see anything. But those are the conversations where you're like, all right, are you going to be able to beat this or not? Are you going to beat this or are you going to lose this? And I would beat it, but then, boy, I passed out within 4 seconds of hitting that bed every single night. 4 seconds, just out. See you later. I'm dead. Wake up the next morning, we're back at it. But golf was good. Michigan was beautiful. It was a great weekend.
Is your game still perfect? Like you said, your game was spot on before this trip.
I don't want to say I'm calling out Tony Romo yet.
I will.
But I'm about a week or two out, bub. I am golfing right
AJ,
now.
it was really good.
Shot a 38 on the last round.
These greens were fast too.
Jeez. So, okay, now let's say you go to a state where some of your vitamins are not recreational.
I don't know.
How do you play?
I don't.
Is your bag big enough to pack it full of some of this?
That's a great question, and I did have those questions while I was in the middle of my best round yesterday. On Saturday. Was it Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
When I was Saturday, I was having those questions. I was like, do you think the PGA would test me? Like, every day are they going to test me and see how? Because this is next level. I was in my own cart, right? So I'm in my own cart, so I could just travel around, bounce around. And in between holes, there was some hikes. Now we had to go. We went through an entire neighborhood at one point. I mean, it was. Yep. So there's a lot of conversations you're having with yourself. It's like, am I actually good at golf right now? Like, what is going on? Why does this ball seem to be going right where it's supposed to go every single time? And then the obvious next thought is, if I was to focus on this for a few months, would I be able to make it into the PGA? Like, am I able to be a professional golfer?
Obvious. Yeah, that's the obvious next thought. Yeah,
I think I could. If you can do it one time, you can do it. What? 60 times like that dude did the other day. Yep. If you can do it one time, you could do it 60 times. Like, that's the mentality, by the way, of a kicker or punter. If you can do it one time, why can't you do it 100 times? That's the difference between good and great, is if you can do it on a regular basis. So it's like, if I can do it once, why can't I do it every time? And then I started realizing it's probably because I'm very high. Like, that's probably why. And then the next question was, does the PGA test for that? And then it turns out they do. So I would have to learn how to play a different style of golf. But boy, when I'm on Mars or on a spaceship, I'm tough to beat. I am tough to beat, pal.
After watching the match 2, I said you could beat Peyton Manning if you guys played a 1-on-1, and I was only reassured of that this weekend, even though you were on cloud 9.
I couldn't open my eyes a couple of times, and those balls were finding the green. I mean, I was boom, 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 boom a couple of times. Pin seeking a couple of times. From like 150, 160 out.
I'd like to see that.
I have 3 different sets of clubs in my set of clubs, too, by the way. I have an 8-iron from somebody else's. I have 2 wedges from something else. I have my first ever set that I bought. I mean, My clubs
your
are
whole,
mixed max.
Did your tea time situation work out where you bought before and after you?
It did. It did work out. We had the whole course to ourselves, 12 wide, 12 carts wide, and this place was very nice.
Was it crowded around? Were there other people around though? Another like 10 holes away?
Maybe. Couldn't see
knows?
them.
We never saw one person.
Never see. The place is called the Ravines. I would very much recommend it. The front nine, it was designed by Arnold Palmer, and I think Arnold Palmer said we want nobody to have fun on the front nine, and then we want them to have a blast on the back nine. No drivers on the first 9 holes.
Oh, it sounds awful.
Yeah, but it's golf. You know, like you got to hit like a hybrid, then you got to go in, and then blah, 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 the whole thing.
You can hit driver still.
Huh?
You can hit driver. Like why can't you hit driver? Is it
Well,
narrow?
from like
What?
260 to 305, there was just a ravine in every single fairway because it's called the ravine. So
Not a fescue.
if you can carry 306, you can go. I wasn't 100% sure I could do that. So
Very tight with trees along
Yeah,
the
and there's
left
a-
and the right.
you got to really play.
That's not my course.
There
That's
was
for
a
sure.
turkey.
There was a turkey with babies. Nick almost got
almost
attacked
died,
in a ravine.
Wow.
Listen
Sounds
to
like an
this.
eventful weekend. You guys all drive there together?
Yeah, we took a couple road stallions. Shout out to them too, Jim and Steve on the road stallions.
What, rent an RV?
They're like souped up Sprinter vans.
Oh, sprinters are the best, yeah.
Oh, it was awesome. They were very nice. I mean, we almost got T-boned on the way up because the red light came out of nowhere, I guess. But
Who drove you?
Jim and Steve.
Jim and Steve.
Oh, these guys that rented the vans to you.
You know Jim and Steve.
Happy birthday
they-
to Steve, by the way. It was his birthday.
Yeah.
They're
Wait,
very
they
good.
stayed there the whole time?
Not with us, but they stayed in the area. They actually golfed on the course that we were on as well. I mean, it was everybody that we encountered this weekend was incredibly nice to us, like too nice to us. The Ravines golf course, I don't know if it's the Ravines or just Ravines. It's in Douglas, Michigan. I guess it's like 5 minutes from where Kirk Cousins grew up at because Kirk Cousins had a tea time the one day we were at. And Jonas, who is John's assistant who runs the whole place, was like, did you know Kirk Cousins was coming here? I was like, never talked to him, man. You know, like eyes barely open or whatever. And he's like, you want to meet him? I was like, nope. You sure? I think he's going to come in right after you guys. Good for him, man. I'm going to get the fuck
I would
out
love
of
to
here.
see that. I would love to see you meet him. Kirk is such a just like wholesome kid, it seems like.
Bro, I just got done shotgunning a White Claw on Cloud 40. How's it going, Kirk? Primetime Kirk, congrats. Born in Dallas last year, week whatever. Congratulations. But it was beautiful. Lake Michigan, too. Gorgeous, dude.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you didn't know, if you were an alien and you got dropped off there on the shore of Lake Michigan at certain points, you'd be like, "Oh, this is the ocean for sure."
This was our view here from our place, dude.
Saw that sunset.
Jeez.
It was insane. I've never seen anything like it. Now, granted, the one thing missing was mushrooms because that sunset off of the lake would have probably been a 2 to 3 hour mesmerized time if you're on mushrooms, if I had to guess. Not that I'm saying people should take mushrooms, but I did have that thought a few times. I was like, mushrooms would probably be pretty cool right now if I had to guess.
During those trips are probably where you should pull out your little note section and take some of those thoughts down. Like we say, you're writing poetry, lyrics, whatever, screenplays. I bet you come up with
Oh, yeah.
just your internal dialogue right there would be something I would check out.
Oh, it happened. It happened. I had my own shitter. You know, that was a big deal about sharing the house. I had my own shitter. So I'd go up into my master bedroom, which was enormous. And felt bad for the boys, actually. Some of the boys had to sleep on the floor in the basement. They were chilly, I guess, from what I'm told. Right? A little chilly down there.
I love it cold.
Zito's
I'm
pumping up his
warm-blooded,
air.
baby.
Did anyone cook? Did anyone make dinner or what?
Well, that was
One of
quite a scene. Quite a scene.
Shout out AQ.
On Friday,
One of the greatest moves.
on Friday, we were going to go to like the local town. There's pizza and stuff. We were starving. But the ladies, the bachelorette party, they planned on cooking that evening.
Oh wait, was this a joint thing?
Bachelorette, yeah. They did their
Didn't
own
know.
thing. We did our own thing. And then at night, we would meet up at the house. So we were going to go into town at a pizza place and all this stuff. We were going to go do that and eat. And I was told that's probably not a good idea to do that. Food will be done in like 2 hours or whatever. So when the 2 hours was said, we were like, well, we are starving. So AQ ordered 16 large pizzas from somewhere, okay? And we were just That arrived immediately after the food was finished that these girls spent 2.5 hours slaving over. I mean, just absolutely. And then when it got there, it didn't call AQ. The girls had just finished it. They were going outside. So they had to carry in all of the pizzas. Okay. So it was quite a scene, It was quite a scene. But late night, those pizzas were the heroes of the entire thing. Because the burgers, the potatoes, they made quite a spread. I mean, it was very good. But late night, like 11, midnight, when everybody's done playing the games, cards, drinking, the pizzas were the heroes. But there was a couple moments there where AQ we thought was getting kicked out of Michigan for those pizza order. Really thought we were.
I can see that. I can see how some girls that anyone really who made a dinner for 2.5 hours for a group of guys who's been on the golf course all day and comes back and none of them can even speak English anymore. Like I can see them getting a little bit upset.
What was he saying too? He was 5-star reviews, 75 5-star reviews.
Yeah, he said there's 75 people reviewed this on Yelp. It's 5 stars. It's gonna be good
I
pizza.
give him credit. He's doing his homework.
No, he's not. It was the only pizza place that was open, and the pizza was shit. Aside from
Philly cheesesteak.
the Philly cheesesteak pizza, which was unbelievable, but he only got 2 of those.
They put horseradish on it.
Other 10 or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, he told us he ordered 16, but he only ordered 10.
Yeah, but it might have been 12 too. He might have got screwed out too. We're not 100% sure what the numbers are, but the pepperoni pizza and cheese pizza tasted like, did you guys have open skate on Friday night at one of your ice skating rinks? $5, go skate.
Yeah, we'd have open skating and open like there was roller skating parties too.
It tastes like pizza from there. That's what the pizza tasted like. The 10 pieces tasted like 10 pizzas taste like that. The 2 Philly cheesesteak ones tasted very good, but AQ is very proud of himself. Exact quote from AQ is, I've never been happier in my entire, this is a guy who has a child and married twice. I've never been happier in my entire life than when somebody goes in there and gets a piece of pizza because of how bad he was hated whenever that thing arrived. I mean, that
Did
thing,
the dishes.
it was quite a scene. There was real
Was he posted up late night just watching the pile of pizzas to see like in the first couple girls that went in that
you're
just
going to
start
like
clapping
that
for him?
one.
AJ, you should have seen the reaction because we were too afraid to go get the first slice of pizza. When the reaction was that a girl went and got the first slice of pizza, the cheering that was.
AQ thought he was a hero. I mean, it was a big
Wait,
deal.
was there like, so when all these pizzas got carried in, was there like some real weird like animosity? Was there a bunch of like silence, or did someone confront him? Be like, I think it would be a lot better. I'd more enjoy watching everybody sit in that if the girls are just so mad and the guys are all sitting.
They got up and
no,
left.
Well,
and
they had to
AQ.
put the pizza down on the table they were sitting at because that was the only spot it would fit.
And then they left.
And AQ
The
blamed
girls left.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they left.
AQ blamed the van drivers and said that they ordered the pizza for us as a present.
As
for
a
the
present
weekend.
for us. But then, obviously, later in the night, that was all forgotten because AQ was the hero. I ordered him. He was trying to pawn off blame on anybody he could early when the house was divided pretty heavily and they left the house. So he was trying to blame anybody. God, what do you okayed this? He starts looking at me. You did this. And it's from the van drivers. It's not even from me, is what he did. And then late night when everybody was getting a bite, pretty good, huh? Pretty good. It was a hilarious weekend. I assumed there'd be a lot more drama going into the week. Like, I was not excited about it, actually. I just assumed that there'd be some shit. Who knows? You got 12 people that have never met each other on one side, and then 12 people, a lot of which have never met each other on the other side. I mean, it seems like those bachelorette parties always ends with something. I mean, there's always something. And that weekend was not. It was not at all. Golf course
so
was,
it was the groomsmen and the bridesmaids all in the house, right?
what's that?
In the house. That's who all you guys. Or they had their own house, or you guys together?
No, we were us. We also had a hotel, couple down.
So you guys didn't have, like, the boys didn't have their fiancés or girlfriends with them. They had the
No,
other
so
bridesmaids who
that's-
they just met.
By the way, that's what. Yeah, but that's why we got
it makes
the
more sense now.
hotel
I
room.
can see. I thought they had like their girlfriends with them. Then I could. Okay, that makes it even more weird that nobody knows each other really, and these pizzas come in. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
nobody got into a fight either. So think about that.
It was like
think
the first day
about
of like a
that.
real world match. That's what it felt like.
Awesome. I mean, yeah. No one filmed anything.
Oh, I was a part of a commercial for some fucking company. I mean,
Jeez.
What?
a lot of people had cameras out that I did not know. So I was like,
No, in your house. I'm saying.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people had cameras out that I did not know. I was like, all right, well, I'm just on for the next 10 hours while being incredibly high right now. So just try to keep your eyes open for every photo. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Do
There
you
was a
know
shit-
your? Do you know the the bridesmaids? Like, do you know them all pretty well?
I know a good amount of them. I didn't know them very well, but I know a good amount of them. They were all good people. All good people. I didn't know them that well, but I knew that they're good people, you know. There was a chef that came in that was specialized in marijuana food. So we had an entire meal that was marijuana infused. There was options for the sober food by some people, and then there was the marijuana infused macaroni and potato salad and
Ranch.
and sauces and all this stuff.
How'd that go?
It was pretty cool. It was very, very cool. It was. Now, once again, I must say we were regrettably high after that. I did not know how strong some of it was going to be, so I was like drinking ranch dressing at portions of it just to see if it would really work or not. But those chefs were trying to shoot a whole commercial throughout that entire night, so I had to really keep the every time they came around, oh, this is good, and then they would go shoot somebody else, and then, oh, this is good. I did not know that was happening, but the food was great. The weekend was great. It was an awesome, awesome weekend.
Billy Tubes was grabbing ranch dressing out of the bowl with his hand, just pouring it into his mouth.
I did not know Billy Tubes was going to eat as many edibles as he did. And I don't know if he knew he was eating edibles at the time when he was eating edibles. And then all of a sudden we looked at him a little bit later and he was holding down the kitchen table like this, like just like a full for like 1 hour. He was just sitting like this. I was like, I told Billy whenever he was going in for his first time, you know, this is his first time, I think, ever doing it. I was like, listen, you're going to come down at some point. That is just what you have to remember. And he was like, yeah, fine, dude. I was like, no, just remember that this will not last forever. Like, the people who have bad trips are people that eat edibles, and then they think, oh, my God, this is my life forever now. This is the way I'm going to think. They start panicking, and, like, bad things happen. It's like, just know that no matter what happens, you will come down. It might not be tomorrow. You might still be in it tomorrow, but at some point, you're going to come down. And then, like, 2 hours later, you see Billy just, like, fucking just like holding down the wall. And I'm like, it's good. You're coming. At some point, you're going to come, Bill. And to Bill's credit, he went right back in the next night.
Yeah, he did.
Went right back in the next night. I was so happy for him. I was
Good
so
for
happy.
Billy. You shared a house with him? Was he in the basement?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was on the couch, as far as we know.
Billy's,
Did you lock him in a room or something that he couldn't get out of?
Nah, Billy's air mattress popped night one, so he had he was in a precarious.
carrying around
soft
6
air
knives at a
mattress
time.
down there.
Yeah, that was Bill's.
He was in a bad spot night one.
It was a good weekend. We wish you would have came. Why didn't you come?
Seriously.
Oh, I was on my way. I already had my other trip scheduled beforehand.
Sure,
Sorry.
Sure.
I called AJ one time, and boy, Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
You're replacing me.
I couldn't even open my eyes. And I'm like, AJ. And he's like, AJ, huh? Is that who you wish I was? I was like, well, AQ, come on. He's like, oh, AQ now. Oh, I thought it was AJ. I'm like, I just ate 3 Rice Krispie treats, dude. Okay, get off my back right now.
AQ, I wish I knew him better. He's awesome.
He's more than you. I mean, he's one of us. He's one of us. That's what he is. He's wide open, though. I mean, that guy is fucking wide open. He was out on it. He sunk a kayak. Okay, so he went out on a kayak, and that thing went straight up like a Titanic right into the bottom of Lake Michigan. So then he gets his barbarian body back to the side, which was not easy because there was rocks shaped like spikes in the bottom of this thing that you had to walk across. So he gets all the way over there, grabs another kayak. He's like, let's go. I'm going back in. Almost sinks that thing to the bottom. I mean, it was a wild week. AQ's a good golfer. There's a guy that's a good golfer.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Really? Big dude like that can play?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. He's
He's
really
an athlete, though. He's a really good athlete, isn't he?
very good athlete, yeah. His jumper's broken. He tried to shoot some shots in here on Friday before he
Can't
left.
do that.
Yeah.
He hasn't touched a basketball in a long time. He's a Western Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic League Hall of Famer because of his high school basketball career, basically.
Nice.
We love what you do, and we don't want you to change. Oh. I might still be high. See, Bill, you're going to come down. You're going to come down, Bill. Raycon is the greatest pair of earbuds to ever be invented.
Hell yeah.
You not agree?
I agree.
You just got your pair, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yes, I actually have to get a couple pair for my kids because they saw me wearing them down in Florida and they all want them in the different colors too.
I was about to say, the good thing about Raycons is they come in a lot of different fun colors and designs for the entire family. And they have the same amount of boom booms, same amount of thumps, same amount of sound, but they're half the price of all those other bullshit Bluetooth headphones. And these aren't Bluetooth, they're wireless earbuds. We're not talking dangling stems. We're talking about fit in your ear perfectly for a nice noise isolating fit.
No more wires.
They got different sizes too for your ear hole. So if you got a small ear hole, they got a small ear thing. If you got a little bit of a wide open ear hole, like Lake Michigan or a wizard sleeve, that thing fits right in there. You do what you got to do. AJ and I have weird shaped ears and we get a nice noise isolating fit. I go with the medium size. What do you go with? Do you know, AJ?
I'm medium as well, yeah.
Maybe that's our ears. We have weird ear holes because they're medium sized. They're not too small because they would just kick them out. Not too large because then they just kick them out. The medium ones are perfect. Nice noise isolating fit. They are the most noise isolating headphones I've ever worn.
I was going to tell you, I get spooked sometimes by like my kids or my wife. I'll have them in, I'll be listening to something and I can't hear anything. And all of a sudden they're right behind me. It scares you.
Even the ones that cover your ear and like turn on, I don't think they isolate noise as much as these Raycons do, who are literally inside of your ear. Like they just live right in your ear. It's insane. It's insanity. How'd they do it? Nobody knows. But I do know that Ray J was one of the co-founders of Raycon. Here's some other folks that love it. Snoop Dogg, ever heard of him?
Oh, yeah. D-O-double-G.
Rolling down the street, smoking Indo,
Sipping on gin and juice. Laid back.
with my Raycons in. Cardi B, Melissa Etheridge, you love her digs. Isn't that really what got you going?
Yeah. Great singer.
Let me hear it.
Standing by the window. Pillow on the floor and I'm cold.
On the floor.
What song is that?
Cold.
Melissa Etheridge one.
Cold.
Melissa Etheridge, she loves
You know that
Raycons.
song, AJ?
How about Brandy and newest Laker J.R. Smith also loves Raycons. Raycon offers their wireless earbuds in a range of fun colors and patterns. They're super comfortable and come with a variety of fit options. The compact carrying case can charge your earbuds up to 4 times on a single charge. Unlike some of your other wireless earbud options, Raycon earbuds are both stylish and discreet with no dangling wires or stems. I already said that. Let's get back into it. The everyday E25 earbuds are the best model yet. They have 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. New styles, new colors, much more fun. You go to buyraycon.com/sports talk. Thought it was going to be McAfee again. buyraycon.com/sports talk for 15% off your order. That's buyraycon.com/sports talk for 15% off your order. Raycon earbuds are about half the price of any other premium wireless earbud on the market, but sound just as good. Buyraycon.com/sports talk for 15% off your order. The Lakers and the Clippers play opening night, and the Jazz and Pelicans play opening night. They did this entire thing with the 13 teams on the West and the 9 teams on the East just to get Zion in the tourney. They got him leading this whole thing off. I think they're inevitably going to end up with the 8 seed, and the Pelicans taking on the Lakers is something that could really happen on the Western Conference first round of the entire playoffs. I can't wait for it, AJ.
Yeah, I just hope everything goes as planned. Where are they right now getting back together as a team?
There's already been teams that have flown down to Florida to start training down there. Teams have already flown down there. There's teams currently spending down there. There's players that have COVID-19 who are currently in quarantine. I believe that it's an all systems go type thing. And the NBA said they don't need their answer until July 1, I think. I think it was like a soft answer of like July 1. I guess they're trying to give people more time to think about it or whatever, but that tourney's going to happen. That is just going to happen. Big stars are going to be down there. They're allowed to change their names on their jerseys. Allowed to change their names on the jerseys. Spotlight anything they want to change.
Is that why He Hate Me was trending over the weekend?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the Raptors might already be down there because Nick Nurse said they're down there and they feel very, very safe as far as the environment is concerned.
The Raptors, by the way, very good at basketball. Everybody thought they were going to stink because Kawhi left. It turns out they are very good at basketball and are already in Florida getting acquainted to the COVID-19 air down there.
Smart.
Liverpool wins the English Premier League for the first time in 30 years, mostly because the greatest soccer player on earth is from America, Christian Pulisic, who plays for Chelsea with a big win on Friday, I believe. Hey, we got a guy. Hey, we got a guy.
Where's he from? Like, how is that possible? I thought Americans always struggle to compete.
He's from Hershey, Pennsylvania. He's from PA. He's 22 years old or 23 years old. He's a guy that a lot of the people in the national system for the United States have been talking about for a long time. Like, we got a guy, this Christian Pulisic kid, he's a good guy. We got a guy. So now he's gone overseas. First he played for
Dortmund.
Who?
Dortmund.
And then he got rented over to Chelsea, basically. Chelsea had him on the bench for a long time. 2 games ago, he goes in, scores a goal within his first minute. This game, first half, blows by 2 dudes, scores another goal. He should have had a third goal, actually, got screwed on the line. This dude has 2 goals in 2 appearances for Chelsea, should be 3 goals in 2 appearances for Chelsea within the last week, and he's going to potentially be the greatest soccer player on earth. We got a guy. He's an American, and he's playing over there overseas. Very happy about
And
it.
he's only 21.
He's only 21?
Yeah.
He's only 21 years old. We got 10 more years of this kid being great. He's got jets, too. I think he might be 5'2", but he's got jets. He's a player. I'm very happy for it, but congrats to Liverpool. You never walk alone, AJ.
Yeah, you don't. Is he the next Freddie Adu?
Whoa.
No.
Way better.
Freddie Adu was this age when he was playing against me when I was 12. Allegedly. I'm not 100% sure. But Christian Pulisic he had the same hype as Freddie Adu coming up through the systems, by the way.
Good for him. I mean, maybe he'll help, I guess, soccer in America. More people catch on to it. More people gain some traction here, because I feel like no matter what they do, soccer people love soccer, but people that don't love soccer don't pay any attention.
Unless you have an American that's dominating, I think. But you should have heard the way they were speaking about him. The way they were talking about him, like, well, he has figured it out a little bit. Talking like he's like the way they talk about Americans over there playing soccer is the same way that Americans who don't like soccer talk about soccer over here. It's like, they were like, you know what? The American pretty good at kicking the ball around with their English accent. Like, the way they were talking as if they were so surprised that this dude was having success was awesome, and also kind of very disrespectful while I was listening. I was like, fucking relax. Listen, I get it. Our men's team hasn't qualified for the World Cup in a while, and we probably won't even make the Olympics, and we stink, and we're a country that's so big, and we lose to third world countries. I understand that, but this is our guy. Let's give him a shot. I think he's the best player on earth. A lot of people attack me for that. A lot of people attack me for that. A lot. Because he's probably not yet, but he will be. And when he is, I'll do that whole, I fucking said it a long time ago.
Told you.
Demore Smith's not happy about players working out together. You think anybody cares?
Nope.
Me neither. The AFL, you watched it this weekend. I saw your picture. I didn't get to respond to you because we didn't have any service on the lake. So I tried to respond to you. It didn't go through. I saw you watched AFL. You happened to see our Collingwood Magpie squad get beat by the GWS Goons, which I don't love. But what did you think of the sport?
It was pretty fun. I was trying to figure out the rules as it goes. Like, it was on like the little TV in the workout room, and I'm like, oh man, AFL. Like, I got to watch this. So, I mean, first, I'm 100% surprised that someone doesn't get hurt every 4 seconds on the field. It's
me too.
Unbelievable. These dudes are in unbelievable shape, and I still can't figure out the rules. Like, so if you pass it forwards, you got to bump it with your fist, like a little bump, like a volleyballer, but you can throw it backwards, like twist a little weird throw. How's that work?
So you have to hit it. You can't throw
Always?
it.
But don't they sometimes throw it behind them? They kind of just...
That's
No,
right.
you have to
Looks
always.
like it.
Anytime you want to move with your hand, it's called a handball. You have to hit it. Okay. In a kick is obviously, it's called footy because kicking is the best method for passing. And if somebody catches a kick of more than 10 meters, the whistle blows. They get 6 seconds to kind of realign themselves. Unless they're within the first 50 meters near the goal, then they get 30 seconds to chill before they're about to score. It's just an insane, a lot happens very quickly, but you're right. I don't know how they don't get hurt every single 15. I don't understand how they don't get hurt all the time. And I would assume they're 124 years into this. If America gets into this, which I think they will because the sport is so damn awesome, we'll ruin it somehow. We'll ruin it. They'll have to put helmets on. Yeah. There'll be a rule about how you can't look down at the ground for a certain amount of time. There'll be all this stuff. But the way it is right now, you got motherfuckers going up with their knees on each other's heads and catching things. I mean, it is insanity out there.
And is there 4 poles in the end zone area?
Yeah, the 2 middle ones, if you hit it through there, are worth 6. If you hit it to the side ones, that's called a behind. That's worth 1. That's worth 1 goal. So you still get a point, but not as
What
much.
if you
as-
catch it? Like I see guys run into the end zone looking thing.
Yeah, they try to catch it and steal it. You got to catch it before it goes all the way through. The whole ball crosses the line. It's not a goal, but if it goes through, it's a goal.
What if I catch it right before the poles and I run in? Do I get anything?
I think you're good. I think
No
you're good.
points?
No points.
Oh, so every point comes through a kick.
Yes. Even if it's bouncing around on the ground, like
Yeah.
they'll do that and it'll count if they kick it.
Oh,
It doesn't
okay.
have to be just a
All right.
punt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes more sense. Yeah, it's you need like they should if they're when they're showing this in America, every once in a while they should pop up like little captions to explain the rules a little bit.
Who's your team, AJ? Huh?
Oh, I had a team. Oh man, where'd I write that? I found a team that I liked. St. Kilda.
St.
Kilda.
The St. Kilda Saints. That's my squad.
Wow.
I saw we got a
here
few
is-
trades or a few rentals from some guys that we're going to step up this year.
Oh,
Hey, nobody here is on the St. Kilda Saints. You would be the first fan of the St. Kilda Saints. I've heard
squad.
they stink, but
That's my team.
my Collingwood team is, I mean, they had a bad outing. Our guy Coxzilla, he had his first game since quarantine and a knee injury, and all of Australia was on his ass for his performance in the first half. But when it came down to it in the fourth quarter, big play, big mark by old Coxzilla. And we might have lost, but we'll be back. Billy's team up there, the Port Adelaide Dockers, no, what are they? Power. They are very good at this point. They are very good at this point.
The Dockers would be the opposite where Foxy was from.
That's the Fremantle Dockers. They stink. They're down there at the bottom. That's Foxy's Lions team down there.
Yeah.
let's go,
Not
go,
good.
go.
I mean,
Where's St. Kilda?
They're not on that list.
we didn't have
You're
this.
not on the official AFL team standings yet.
yeah, we didn't know you had them. If you had told us before, we would have been able to add them.
Yeah.
That's all right. I prefer to. I prefer to be a fan, but I don't have to post about my fandom of the sport.
You probably should.
Well, that's the purpose of this.
Yeah.
Trying to help the sport
Spread the
grow.
word.
Spread the word.
Well, let me go on the rules a little bit more, and then maybe I'll ask to be added into the league.
None of us know the rules.
Yeah.
No.
Who cares about the rules? It's just a score.
St. Kilda's in 7th. You know, right.
Trying to respect the
right in
sport,
middle
Pat.
there.
Just handball it a little bit, Bob.
Okay, Bob.
A lot of people think we're paid by the AFL, by the way, to promote this. We are not. Nope.
No.
Should we be? Probably.
Yeah.
If,
More
pe-
than
if people
likely.
think that that we are, then we probably should be.
But it's just passion. Just passion for the sport.
Love the
They
game.
put my name on a Sharon. Sharon. See that? That's Sharon right there. See that?
I do see that.
This is a gift shop ball, I guess, not a real one.
Oh, no, I thought it was game issued.
Did you bring your uniform they sent you and wear that during your bachelorette party?
Did not make an appearance, actually, but we did watch it on the way to golf one morning in the back of the Road Stallion. We did watch the boys kick it around, kick it around a little bit.
Good. Cool glasses.
That's the show. That's the show.
The greatest sports talk show on the internet from 1 to 2 Eastern Standard Time. So come on down for a mental vacation with the boys on YouTube Live.
What is it?
It's McAfee and Hawk. It's McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk. AJ used to tackle quarterbacks and he's a Rust Belt kind of guy. That's the punter of the decade for the 2010s, kicking Pierce missiles to the sky. It's McAfee and Hawk. It's McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk. It's McAfee